Namaskar. Welcome to the example number 17C. In the previous videos 17A and B, we had a discussion on this example number 17 native, wherein he joined the company in the homeland. And in the 17B video, we discussed that person moved to other country, Paris, to join the work within the same company. He moved to the head office in Paris. So without any change of job, he started working in Paris. Then after some period, it was said that he came back homeland within the same company without any change of job. He started working again in homeland. So that's what we are going to study in this example, in this video, the same example. Which periods or whether the periods are supportive for the person to come back homeland, and also in which period made that native to come back homeland and start working, continuing his work within the same company. So we'll discuss in this video. Example 17C, timing of event, returned India for job in the same company. Now let us examine the birth chart. This is the birth chart of that male native, example number 17. Now we are going to study the self-significations and timing of event for the person to come back homeland, abroad return. I have changed the event to abroad return also. Now let us examine the self-significations. We are on the EPS page, and let me select the self-significators and also planet colors. Now we have to see that abroad return is the primary event. So return in the sense to homeland. So 4th house, 8th house, and 2nd house, and also 11th house. These 4, 8, 2, 11 houses are all, we can say, important houses. And only grouping we have to keep it in mind. So no single house will be strong enough. Only grouping are important. And supportive houses are 1, 5, 6, 10. And abroad return, which are the unfavorable houses for the native to come back homeland. 9th house and 12th house are supportive for the native to be in abroad. And 3rd house is D2 because 3 means travel. It can be even 9th house also. It is talking about travel, whether it's traveling to homeland or to traveling abroad. So that 3rd house, 9th house have to be studied carefully, whether talking about the travel abroad. The same houses can be supportive for to come back when they are connected to that primary 4th house and 8th house and 2nd house. I think you're able to understand. So 7th house also in general favorable houses for talking about the abroad. So 7, 3, 9, 12 are coming under the unfavorable for travel back homeland, and 4, 8, 2, 11 are favorable, and 1, 5, 6, 10 are supportive houses. Now let us examine each planet. Ketu is 7th occupant and 9th cuspal sublord. These planets 7 and 9 are definitely, it is supportive for travel abroad only, not for homeland return, right? So 7 and 9 are supportive for the person to travel abroad. So, but I've already said that 9th house, when it is, we are talking about 9th house, there is no 12 is present. So 9, when it is present, we cannot say it is supportive only for travel abroad. It can also indicate travel, long travel, 9th house. It can be for the homeland also, provided it is connected to the 8th house and 2nd house and 11th house and 4th house. Anyway, as far as the self-signification of Ketu is concerned, we can say Ketu is not good house for travel. It is unfavorable side. So we can say, we can give the light red color. It means it is not supportive for return. And Venus planet is 1, 8, and 10, 3, 7. 3 and 7, 3rd house is 7th house. They are all supportive for travel. And as I said, it is supportive for travel, that's all. And 8th Lord. 8th Lord is also, it is good for the Lagna to come back. 1, 8 is favorable. And 3, 7 is not good. Ketu also not good for return. So it is a mixed significator. 1-8 is favorable and 3-7 is weak. So Venus can be mixed. Sun planet is ninth occupant. Ninth occupant is supportive for travel, long travel, and 11th star lord. 11 is supportive for travel. 9 and 11 supportive for both. Travel abroad also, it can be considered for supportive for coming back homeland, because 9 and 11 supportive for travel and its success. It is not 9 and 12. 9 and 11 supportive for travel abroad also we can take. It can be supportive for travel to homeland, provided, as I said, whether when this planet is influenced by the other favorable houses to come back homeland. What are they? 8th house and 4th house and 2nd house are all influencing the sun. Then it can support for travel to return homeland. So sun also we can give it as a mixed one because of 9 and 11. And moon 10, 10 and 5, it is nothing to do with the travel back homeland or something. So moon we can give that light blue, which is neutral. And Mars, second lord, seventh lord occupying 6th house, and 4, 8, 12 cuspal star lord, and Rahu is having 1, 2, 8, 11. In these two, 7 is fine for, it is not good for the travel back homeland. 2 is good, and 4, 8 are also supportive. 2 and 4, 8 are favorable, and 7, 6, 12 are not supportive. So this is mixed significator. Rahu also same way, 2, 8 cuspal sublord, supportive for comeback homeland, 2, 8, 11, right? And so Mars we can give pink. And Rahu, Lagna occupant 2, 8, 11 cuspal sublord. 2, 8 is supportive for to come back. Lagna also supportive and 11 also supportive. But you have to keep it in mind, whenever Lagna is present, we need to be very careful, because 1 and 11 are favorable. And this need Rahu being the Lagna occupant, if it is getting the support of all other favorable houses to travel abroad, it is also 11 sublord. No? So 1 and 11 sublord can favor for travel abroad also, if it is supportive, influenced by the favorable key planets. In other words, Lagna significator, especially Rahu, it is being the Lagna occupant. If it is influenced by the 9th house, 12th house, the Jupiter, because favorable key planet for travel abroad, and Mercury, if they are all, influencing this Rahu, then Rahu can support for travel abroad also. And when it is connected to the unfavorable, it can support for coming back homeland also. So that way, that Rahu, being the Lagna, we have to say that mixed significator. It can support also, it can support for travel abroad also, it can support for coming back homeland also. I think we're able to understand the difference. Jupiter, 3, 5, 6, 3, 5, 6, 5 and 6, 1, 5, 9. So you can see 3 and 9 and supported 5, 6. They're all supportive for the native to be in abroad, because third house is strongly connected to 5th house and 9th house. These are all supportive houses for travel abroad. So Jupiter is not a favorable planet to, for the coming back. So being the third house, as I said, third lord, in the sense it is talking about travel. Whether it is talking about travel to abroad or return, so depending on the other level, other supports. So we need to be very careful when the primary house is playing role in the cuspal lord's primary house, and also Lagna if it is playing. I already given such points in the, important points in analysis methodology in the previous chapters. So Jupiter, we can say Jupiter is favorable, not good for the travel abroad. So we can make Jupiter is light pink, light red, because it is having on its own, it is having unfavorable for coming back. It is favorable for going abroad only, right? Saturn is 4th lord occupying 9th house, 4, 6, 10. This is unfavorable, 4 unfavorable, and 9 and 12 are supportive. This is also mixed one, but favorable on the higher side. Being the 4th lord and 4th sublord also, it is strong enough for coming back. So Saturn also mixed one because of the 9 and 12, favorable also, but unfavorable also, both are present here. And Mercury. Mercury is 9, 11, and 12, and 8, and 2, 6, 10, and 1, 3, 7. So 9th house, 12th house are supportive for travel abroad, not for coming back. As I said, being the ninth lord, traveling, long travel, also 11th lord, occupying 8th house, it is also supportive to some extent for to come back. And 1, 3 also supportive for the native for the travel. So this is also mixed significator. Though Mercury's favorable houses are strongly present, it can also support for coming back, provided the other important favorable key planets are influencing that. So Mercury also mixed. So if you see that Venus also we are given mixed because of the 8th house, Sun also we are given this mix because of the 9 and 11, and what do you call, mixed means supportive, both favorable and unfavorable. Or we can see what we can give Sun, we can give instead of pink, we can give blue color because it is supportive. We can see 9 and 11. And I want to differentiate between the pink. Mars is, yes, it is having 8 house and 4 and 2, it is mixed one. Rahu also same way, 2, 8, 11, so it is mixed one. Saturn, we can see 4 and 4 strongly present, it is mixed one, but it is on the favorable side for the coming back is strongly present. Mercury is having that both favorable, so like Sun, Mercury also we can give blue, then only we can differentiate from other planet, because Mercury having both favorable and unfavorable, or unfavorable, or I mean are strongly present, along with that favorable houses are present, so we can say it is blue, it is mixed, we can say that. So we can differentiate with the colors according to your convenience, we can do it. The important planets which are supportive for coming back homeland, it is 2, 8 and 4, 8 significant, 2, 4, 8 significant. We can see this is having 1, 8, and this is having that is 2, 4, 8, and Rahu also got the 2, 8, and is mixed one because Lagna also playing role, can support for travel also, it can support for coming back homeland also. And Saturn, right? So then Mercury to some extent, because 9 moving towards 8. So if you see that Venus we have given pink, and Mars also we have given pink, and Rahu also we have given pink, and Saturn also we have given pink, and Mercury we have given, Mercury also is supportive, but as I said, it is having, no, because it is having 8th house, we can give Mercury also pink. Just a minute. Let us, Mercury also we can give pink. Only Sun is giving 9 and 11 only, so it is given blue. It is average planet. So if you see that all the pink shade what we have given, it has got value, right? So it is indicating they are all supportive for the travel. Back to homeland. I think you are able to understand now, right? Now let us save the colors, and let us go and check the destiny and also the SAR periods. Now let us go to the home page and check the planets for the destiny and also the SAR periods. So let us keep open that self-significators. And I think I remember in the example 17A, in the first video, we discussed on the destiny for the travel abroad and also 10 sublord significations and all we discussed in the both A and B examples, wherein we studied that 4th cuspal sublord and 12th sublord planet, both favorable for travel abroad or also homeland, in the star of the planet which is supportive for travel abroad and also supportive for return homeland, already we discussed, because Saturn is the pink shade planet, 4th sublord also 12th sublord, 4th lord also in the star of Jupiter, supportive for travel, and that is influenced by Saturn by way of aspect that already we discussed. Let me open the birth chart. You can see Saturn is aspecting to the Jupiter, so that unfavorable are passed on to that. And sublord is Venus is mixed one, That is also influenced by the Saturn. So Saturn's that fourth house significations, and it is supporting to the 1/8, supportive for the Lagna to come back homeland. And that way we'll discuss this is both favorable, unfavorable are present. It is supportive for travel abroad and also to come back homeland. So in that, which are the favorable key planet, which is making the, the 12th sublord or the 4th sublord planet to come back homeland. Obviously, Saturn is the strongest one. And then comes the pink shade, that Mercury is mixed one, and Venus 1/8. Lagna Lord, 8th Lord, when it is getting the support of Saturn, definitely it is going to favorable. So out of the planets, pink shade planet, Saturn is good and also Venus is good. Both are connected to each other. Mercury also, it is being the 9th Lord and it is mixed one, right? So that way, that Rahu also being the Lagna Lord. Please understand, whenever Lagna is playing role, we need to be very careful because that can favor this way or that way according to its supports. It because being the Lagna Lord, it can experience, it can receive all the supports, right? So we have checked the destiny. Destiny supportive for to come back, and that planet which are supportive for comeback also we discussed. That is Saturn and Venus are strongly playing role here, right? So now let us check the dasa periods. In which dasa the native, we already discussed which dasa the native traveled abroad for the job. We already discussed that. In moon dasa, Venus Bugdi, Venus Antara traveled abroad. Then we had a discussion, some brief discussion on the Mars Dasa, because Mars Dasa only that native was working after the Moon Dasa. He was continuing working in the Mars Dasa itself. Whether Mars Dasa is strong enough to make the native to come back homeland, that we have to discuss. So that Mars is mixed one, already discussed because of the 2-4-8 and supported by Rahu 2-8. And in the star of Venus, sub of Venus, already we discussed about the Venus in the destiny. Venus is the strong, favorable key planet. It can favor for come back homeland because 1/8, 10, 3/7 supported by Ketus. It is a mixed one. It can support for both. The Venus planet is being the Lagna Lord, 8th Lord, supporting to the 2-4-8, and no, it is not Ketu. Star level planet is not Ketu. It is only Venus, 1/8. Ketu means 7 and 9 is favorable travel abroad. 1/8, 10 and 3/7 supported by Ketu also. Now let us check any other planets are further supporting to the this Mars and Venus. What are the other favorable key planet? Important key planet is Saturn. So where is Saturn? Saturn is aspecting to Venus by way of aspect. So Venus is influenced by the Saturn by supports, right? And star lord of the sublord also Saturn is influencing because Venus, sublord also Venus. So that way that Saturn is influencing the both the planets. And Mars and Rahu, they're connected. They are also supportive to for the event. So definitely during the Mars Dasa, in the favorable Bugdi, in which Bugdi which is having that strong influence of the Saturn and also Venus, definitely that Bugdi will favor for the native to come back homeland, right? So that we have to see that. So in Mars Dasa, and he was running in the favorable Bugdi, the role of Saturn is not present there in Mars straight away. If Saturn was there in Mars as one of the ruler, definitely in Mars Dasa, Mars Bugdi itself would have favored the native to come back homeland. But that is not the case because Mars is not having the Saturn in the ruler, but the rulers which is favorable houses for the coming back home, 1/8, is supported by the Saturn by way of aspect, by supports. So we have to look for the planet which are having that role of Saturn strongly. So look at that next planet, Rahu. Rahu is Lagna occupant. I told you whenever Lagna is playing role, we need to be very careful. This is mixed when star lord is Saturn, sublord also Saturn. So this is star level, sub level, or planet are supportive for the native for the job prospects. Already we discussed, and also supportive for the native too for the job in homeland. But look at the Rahu is the Lagna occupant, and Rahu is aspected by Jupiter. Remember, Rahu is aspected by Jupiter. Just a minute, let me erase this one. The favorable key planet for traveling abroad is Jupiter. That Jupiter is aspecting to Rahu by way of ninth aspect. So that Rahu is getting the support of the Jupiter. So because of that, Rahu is mixed one, but star level, sub level, or Saturn itself is favorable. But Rahu is getting the support of the Jupiter. So that we need to be careful. So that, but Rahu we can choose supportive for coming back homeland, right? We have to keep it in the waiting list. And let us check the Jupiter. Jupiter planet is itself is having mixed, I mean, it is, we are given light red because it is not supportive. It is supportive for travel. Because of third lord and supportive for long travel also, but it is supportive for travel. In general, it is supportive for travel. In the star of Mercury, Mercury also is favorable with mixed signification. 9 moving towards 8. So this is also supportive for travel also. It is supportive for obstacle in long travel, right? Or obstacle for staying back long in abroad. It is a mixed significator, we can see, because we are given the pink shade. And star lord of the star lord is Mars and sublord is Saturn. Can see in the Dasa Lord, which are the favorable key planet to, I mean, for the coming back Saturn and of course Mars. Mars and Saturn are the favorable key planet. Here Saturn itself is playing and Mars is playing as the second planet and Rahu is acting as the source planet. Rahu is Lagna occupant and 2, 8, 11. So we need to be careful when handling the Rahu. It can favor also, it may not favor also. Because it is in the star of Saturn, sub of Saturn, favorable for job in abroad also, job in homeland also. Now, look at the Jupiter. Jupiter is talking about third house. Star level is also mixed one. 2A level, Mars itself is playing role at the 2A level and sublord is Saturn. Saturn is playing role for the sublord for the Jupiter. That Jupiter is passing ruler link to the star lord also and planet also, because Saturn is conjoined with the Mercury and also in the sign of Mercury, and Saturn is aspecting to Jupiter. Here Saturn is only at the sub-level, star level planet is mixed, sub-level also mixed. But here it is not like that. It is source only having some mixed signification, but star level, both star and sub-lord are weaker. Are supportive for, I mean, return homeland, right? But the how to study whether Rahu is better or Jupiter is better. Rahu star level, sub level or weaker, ruled by the unfavorable key planet or favorable key planet to come back homeland Saturn. Saturn is both favorable and unfavorable because 9 also there and 12 also there. So Lagna will get the support of the 9 and 12, and it is indicating both favorable and unfavorable. Sublord also the same way. But here you can see, we can say sir, 3, 9, 12, 3, 7, all favorable and also sublord also supportive. Yes, favorable also there and unfavorable also there. Here, the importance is the source planet. The source planet is talking about Lagna and also 2, 8, 11. But here that source planet is talking about third house. Third house is travel. Now, when the source planet is talking about the primary house for the event, for travel. But if the star level planet, it is moving towards unfavorable houses to the third house or travel abroad, are favorable houses to the, travel to the homeland, right? This is talking about third house. Third lord in the star of a planet, 9 and 11 are favorable, but 12 also favorable for traveling abroad, but 8th occupant. So 9 is moving towards this one. So third house is getting some mixed signification at the star level, right? And 12 level planet is Mars. The Mars is mixed one, right? And sublord is resulting is talking about the homeland. So third house moving towards 9, 11 and also 8th house. And also that sublord is 4th house. So third house is talking about the travel. Travel is talking about coming to homeland. Here this one is not talking about any travel. It is talking about Lagna. In the star of Saturn supportive for travel and supportive for job in abroad. We can see 1 and 4, 8, 4, 4, 9, 4, 6, 10, 12. Again, same thing. Supported by Jupiter, supportive for job in abroad also in this planet, because source is not talking about any third house or ninth house. But here the Jupiter is not that way. Jupiter is talking about third house, travel, supported by travel, long travel, connected to the eighth house. And this eighth house is talking about, coming homeland. 9 is moving towards 8 and supported by 4, 8 and further supported by 4, 6. So that in Mars Dasa, Jupiter Bugdi is strongly favorable. Just a minute. In Mars Dasa, Jupiter Bugdi is stronger than the Rahu Bugdi in abroad return. So the favorable key planet in the Jupiter for coming homeland is Saturn, right? And also that Mars is playing role, that the Lord's key planet also playing role here. And Saturn role is significantly playing. So that we have to keep it in mind, right? So now in Mars Dasa Jupiter Bugdi, the native is strong enough to come back homeland. So in that Mars Jupiter, which antra? So definitely the favorable key planet Saturn is important, which make that Jupiter all levels are influenced by the Saturn. And similarly, we have to check the other planet which are strong enough to support for come back homeland with these houses, and also the role of the Saturn, right? Please understand, third house, ninth house are all talking about travel. And when it is connected to 11th house and 4th house and 8th house, it can support for travel to homeland. So that we have to keep it in mind. So that's what happened here in Jupiter. In Saturn Antra, Saturn is good for travel. 4 and it is talking about 4th house. But Star Lord, these planets are strongly favorable for travel abroad. So it is not supportive for strong enough to come back homeland, right? Because Saturn in the source only. It is there in the star level or sub level, that is fine, but it is Saturn is not strong enough as Antra under the Jupiter. Mercury, it is not having any Saturn. It will not favor. Rather, it is having that ninth house. It is good only. Being the ninth lord, we need to be careful, because if the star level planet is talking about 2 and 4, it is supportive. But sublord planet is not talking about any travel to homeland. Otherwise, the source effect are favorable. Then check the Ketu. Ketu planet is 7th house and 9th sublord. So whenever the planet is talking about the primary house, we need to be careful. That's what I was telling that. So Ketu represents Venus. Venus is the planet, our 1/8 significator, which is the strong one of the unfavorable key planet in the Dasa Lord. Venus itself is playing role. Okay. Star level planet Sun is 9th occupant and 11th. That is, we are given blue because it is supportive for 9 and 11. It is supportive for travel and also benefit. But we don't know whether it is talking about travel to abroad or it is talking about coming back homeland. Long travel, it is supported. And that sun is conjoined with this Saturn, right? And sun also conjoined with the Mercury, and it in sign of Mercury only. So Saturn is influencing the sun, star level planet, but 9 and 11 are present. And sun in the star of Jupiter, it is supportive for travel, right? And sublord is Saturn. That is most important. Sublord planet is the favorable key planet, which is making that Buddhi Lord favorable for travel abroad. Sorry, travel to homeland is Saturn. That Saturn is playing role at the sublord, and that Saturn is passing ruler link to the sun, because that Saturn is conjoined with the sun, and Saturn also aspecting to Venus. That Venus is representing Ketu. So Saturn is passing ruler link. So starting with the source planet is talking about ninth sublord. So something about the ninth house. Here we talked about third lord, right? Similarly, Ketu is abroad planet, long travel planet. In the star of a planet, supportive for travel 9 and 11, but it is not talking about ninth house, 12th house and grouping. It is 9 and 11, further supported by Saturn and Mercury in its supports. Suppose the sublord is not Saturn, like Mercury, Mars are favorable, Moon is not favorable, so did not favor. Similarly, Ketu sublord, if it is not Saturn, because Saturn is the favorable key planet, influencing the 9 and 11 for coming back homeland, influencing the 9 sublord also, that Ketu representing Venus, supportive for come back homeland. So that way, the Ketu is supportive for coming back homeland under the Jupiter Buddhi. Jupiter Buddhi, Ketu Antra, the native, came back to homeland without any loss of job, because these significations are not talking about any loss of job. They are all supportive for job prospects connected to abroad. And so that way the native was working under Mars Dasa, but in abroad, and Mars Dasa Jupiter Buddhi, that native traveled back to homeland, because Jupiter sublord is Saturn, is influencing the star level and source level. That star level planet already having that 8th house, and Lagna also connected 9, 11, 8 are influenced by that star lord, or the star lord, that is Mars, that Dasa lord, key planet, and the Saturn is supporting to that. The same Saturn is playing role at the sublord for the Ketu. That Ketu is talking about 9. Star Lord Sun is 9 and 11. That 9 and 11 are talking about travel success, and that Sun is influenced by the Saturn by way of conjunction. That Saturn itself is the sublord forming rural link. So during that Mars Dasa, Jupiter Buddhi, and Ketu Antra in July 2015, the native returned homeland. So in July 2015, return. No change of job. Then he traveled back in Mars, Jupiter, and Ketu. If you take the Jupiter signification, forget about the colors, only look at the grouping. 3, 5, 6, and 5 and 6. Star level is 9, 11, 12, and 8. And sub-level is 4 and 9. So you can see this planet is supportive for travel abroad, or also it is supportive for coming back homeland. But if you look at that fourfold significators alone, if you take, because in fourfold significator, it will talk about only 9 planet and star lord only. I will show you that fourfold significators also. KP significator, what are the significator of Jupiter? Jupiter is 8, 5, 11, 12, 9, 3, and 6. Because it is talking about 8. 8 is obstacles, or we can say it is, supportive for coming back. But 5, 11, 12, 9, 3, 6, these are all supportive for both favorable and unfavorable. It is signifying. But we'll not be able to, because it is talking about 12 and 9 and 3 favorable houses also, we'll not be able to come to a decision whether it is supportive for coming back homeland or whether it is supportive for travel abroad. Similarly, look at Ketu 9 and 7. We'll not be able to differentiate, right? And look at that Mars 10, 6, 1, 8, 2, 7. This is not talking about travel abroad also. It is not talking about coming homeland also. In Mars Dasa, whether native will be there in abroad and working. In Mars Dasa, he was there. Mars Dasa, Mars Bugdi, Rahu Bugdi, also he was there only. But it is not talking about supportive significations for the native to be in abroad, right? So that way, then we'll not be able to, understand whether that with the significators of the fourfold, we'll not be able to come to any decision. Only if we take the CST, CSL, and also importantly support planet significations. But how come Jupiter has supported? Jupiter in the star of Mercury. Mercury is 9 and 11 or 12 are fine, but occupying 8th house, so that third house moving towards this one. 8th house 9 is not supported, and star lord of the star lord Mars 2, 6, 4, 8. These unfavorable houses are, the star level and sub level are indicating some obstacle. Third house moving towards favorable to the coming homeland, but further decided by the sublord 4, 9, 4, 6, and that Saturn is the strong key planet. That Saturn is passing the ruler link to the other planets. It is confirming that. So the native travel back homeland during that Mars Dasa, Jupiter Bugdi, and Ketu Antra. So he was there in that company, and so we have studied this. The person traveled abroad back to homeland. So now in the next video, we'll discuss he came back to the same company in the homeland. He started working, and one particular period he left the company, and due to COVID, he could not get any job after that for some period, and he got a new job again, and he left the in a homeland to join the job in abroad, in which period we will discuss in the next video.